back to the Quartz Crisis.
This is such a good one. I was so excited that you chose this.
Oh, how could you not?
All right, guys, let's get right into it. We're gonna go ahead and roll through some of our favorite new arrivals that hit the site or are about to hit the site this week. Rob, I think you're gonna kick us off, right?
We are. I was excited looking through the stacks this week because I thought we had a really good range of both very high-end things and some really nice accessible pieces.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough for us sometimes because we'll go in and we'll look at what's on the website and we're immediately drawn to like the almost unobtainable watches that we're lucky enough to see here at the
I feel like you're just throwing shade at me already.
No, I'm not. I mean, I've got some expensive stuff on this tray.
You do.
I mean, nothing is trust fund level, but like some expensive watches. But I feel like we got a great variety today of stuff that, runs the gamut. And we've got old, we've got new, we've got rare, we've got standard production. So I wanted to start with this Omega, which is the new Speedmaster Flight Qualified. And I thought this was a really interesting watch because they took the basis for this from the 1969 Flight Master, and they made this as just a military spec watch first.
Really?
So this was
the 60
not.
Watch?
Yeah. So this watch
was that a Mark II Speedmaster? Or
no,
was
I'm talking about this watch that we have right here.
Oh, really?
So the first iteration of this watch was in 2024 and was a military-only issue, and they started to get leaked to Instagram, and it was probably all on purpose. But the story is that it was leaked to Instagram, and everybody thought it was incredible, and so now in 2025, we have this as a standard production.
That's wild. I had no idea.
Yeah, so this is one of the automatic coaxial speedies, although they did a solid case back on this, which I really, really like.
I mean, again, it's if the idea is that it's supposed to be military issue, that makes sense, you know?
We have a matte finish dial that's unlike anything I've seen.
It's not even matte. It almost has some like texture to it.
Yeah, it almost looks like a material blast or something, but obviously it's not that. But a beautiful matte finish on the dial, these super bold indices. Apparently, it is a burn rate indicator on the chronograph, which to me is so cool.
That's hilarious.
An old school aluminum bezel, which I love. Like, it just looks right. I love the plane on the end of the second hand. The altimeter style, running 60-second register, like everything about it is cool. Even the date at 6 o'clock, I think with the way this watch is, it works.
I think it's subtle enough that if that was a white date disc with black, it wouldn't work, but it blends nicely.
Yeah.
I honestly, personally, I love the pop of color. From the blue and yellow to the orange, it's kind of whimsical with, like you said, with the plane on the seconds counter. It has just enough of a mix of those vintage vibes that you were talking about from the '60s version, and modern flat link bracelet, so the updated version of the earlier style.
And it's so good too because the clasp isn't massive. It's a nice size on the clasp. It's a good taper to the bracelet. There's a lot of modern bracelets where I feel like everything is great except the clasp, because then it has this giant bulky clasp on it, and this is beautifully slim. It's very flexible, almost floppy.
I feel like every single show we talk about how we like the new Speedmaster flat link.
We probably do bracelet. Too much, but the last thing I'll say is I think it's really cool that it is clearly a very specific purpose-built watch.
Yeah.
But it's not like you buy a Navitimer and somebody's like, whoa, that's so cool. How does it work? And you're like, I don't know.
I don't know how to use a slide ruler. Yeah.
This doesn't matter.
Well, because it doesn't actually do anything. It's just a chrono.
It does, though. If you're a pilot and the burn rate thing probably is super useful.
Right.
If you're,
If there are any pilots out there, let us know. Would you trust your
doesn't
burn
John
rate
Travolta own F-16s and stuff like that? So people do have jets. Hobbyists.
Right.
They're out there.
When you hop in your MiG to go home.
But it's also not the sole purpose of the watch. It's still just a cool chrono. So bravo, Omega. A really good job.
No, I agree. I agree. I like it a lot. Is that currently available on the website?
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very nice, Rob.
Thank you.
So I will follow your lead, and I will go with something. I will start things off with something that is I believe you would say attainable and more of a watch for the populace.
It's approachable
for the people. Yeah,
it's approachable, right? It's always tough to talk about these things because we're in an industry where that price point of entry, at least in terms of the brands that we carry, is high.
Oh, it's
right?
significant for sure.
They're expensive watches, but your frame of reference starts to kind of shift a little bit when you look at kind of the range of things, even the range of stuff on this tray, where we go from 10K-ish up to 200K-ish.
Oh, no, way more. Are you kidding me?
For
the AP?
Oh, I forgot about the AP. Where is the AP?
It's right in the front.
No,
where is the AP?
price-wise.
Oh, it's not priced yet, but it'll be $350 plus probably. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Back to what I was saying. Gonna start it off with the new Parmigiani Tonda PF. This is the new 36 millimeter version. This is a killer little watch. Rob, go ahead and show that off. So it's funny. Parmigiani's a brand that I never really connected with. There were never really any models that I was super interested in. And then lately, they've been coming out with a lot of really interesting stuff. And some of it has just been, rehashing, already existing models and just adding, more kind of modern, interesting dial colors and some different functionality and whatnot. But I think they're doing really great stuff right now. So like I said, this is the Tonda PF 36 mil. So you get a 36 millimeter steel case, steel bracelet. It's only 8.6 mil thick, so it actually, this wears beautifully. It's got that stone, what they call their stone blue dial, which I think is stunning, actually.
Flat.
So you get that. So that stone blue dial is hand engraved with grain to orge, guilloche. So really, really beautiful. Yeah, if you catch it in the light, it's tough to see because it's very finely done.
I think you can see, though, how dynamic the dial is because it goes from almost this kind of battleship gray kind of thing, and then it can get almost into an inky kind of dark blue, depending upon how the light hits it.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the skeleton, the larger skeleton version of this watch, a few weeks ago that we both actually really loved.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about this 36 mil case. It wears beautifully. It's got enough detail from the dial engraving to that coin edge bezel, which I think just pairs perfectly with all the decoration. And automatic movement with a 60-hour power reserve. So you're getting a really great engine in there. And retail is 21,400 Swiss francs, which is 26.5K. And we're listing it for $18,500. So again, not insignificant money, but in the grand scheme of things, you're getting a really, really high quality, interesting, model that not everybody's going to know what it is, and not everybody is going to recognize what that is.
If you're thinking, I want a 36 mil Datejust style watch, but I don't want a Datejust because everybody has a Datejust.
There you go.
You know what's cool about this is no date, and I love no seconds.
Yeah, I do too.
I love the fact that this is just hours and minutes because there's something so clean and pure about that, and it's almost kind of zen to me. It's time passes, but you don't need to be aware of it.
I do think that, like you said, without that running seconds, without that date, it allows all those other seemingly small details really shine, and it creates this really elegant, but at the same time very wearable, very rugged, could be your daily interesting piece. So killer watch. Like I said, that's available right now for $18,500 on our website, and I'm a big fan. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really good. I found it interesting that they chose to do a different movement in this than they do in the standard PFs, and I wonder if that was a limitation of the case size,
I think
or if they wanted it to kind of distinguish itself from the bigger brother, within their lineup, to kind of have more variety in there. Because it's not one movement's better than the other.
I was going to say, it's not one is better than the other.
The spec is pretty similar, other than micro rotor versus full rotor.
But actually, I really appreciate that instead of just putting
recasing. That's what I mean. They didn't just recase
that
the movement.
They actually developed, or I believe they did. They developed, not bespoke, but essentially a bespoke movement for this case, which, to me, is is like incredibly respectable. You know what I mean? Whenever a watchmaker does that, instead of just, you know, reheating another movement that they have on the shelf, like I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
So
cool. Alrighty. Now we're going to step back in time. And we're going to go back to the Quartz Crisis.
This is such a good one. I was so excited that you chose this.
Oh, how could you not? So, back in the 80s, you know, 70s into the 80s, the Swiss watch industry is struggling for relevance. And we get the Royal Oak, we get the Nautilus, we get the IWC Ingenieur as attempts for the Swiss watch industry to say we're still here. We get the beginning of the narrative of these things as heirlooms and luxury items, you know, especially from brands like Rolex, which before that were very much like tool watches.
Well, even more so the Royal Oak. You know what I mean? It's for, you know, a brand to put out, or this brand to put out an all-steel watch at a luxury price. It was such a...
People were up in arms with how expensive that watch was.
Yeah,
so while they're making that, they also took JLC's Caliber 920 and they started building their own movement off of that. And in 1978, they launched the world's thinnest ever automatic perpetual calendar. And then fast forward a couple years later, and that leads to the reference to
5657 BA.
You can't say it at the same time.
With the assist.
25657 BA for yellow gold.
Yeah.
These are known as the AP Quantieme Perpetuals. And I mean, as a guy who thinks the 3940 is one of the greatest watches ever made, this falls right in line. This is... And AP,
it's the same design brief as the 3940, essentially.
Yes and no. AP was making this before the 3940. So while AP is making this, Patek is making the 3448 and the 3450, right?
That's actually crazy to think that the 3448 and the 3450 were being produced at the same time that AP was making this watch. It seems... Those two, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Those two watches, I do actually. Those two watches from Patek feel so much more vintage than this does. This, yes, like you said, it's this one. This particular one is from '82. I think you said what they started making this in.
So we don't have the year on this one. This is a B serial. And the range of production for this watch, this reference was 1982 to 1993. So this is a dark time for Swiss watches, right? You don't see. Like, you don't see Breguets from this era. You don't see Jaegers from this era. Like, a lot of places had kind of stopped making mechanical movements. And in fact, you know, other than like houses like Jaeger, which weren't making watches, but they were still making movements, and places like Valjoux and ETA and things, there wasn't a lot of like movement makers on the scene because the whole quartz thing was really upsetting the natural balance. So this is a beautiful early series. You have these sunken subdials.
I was blown away because like we've seen a lot of these over the years now. And this is clearly an earlier one. And I wish I knew more about the different generations of this watch. I know that there are distinctive you know, characteristics that specific serial ranges and years have, but this, like you said, it's a B series, right?
Yep.
So we know that it's earlier in the production range, but those sunken subdials are so awesome, and it's such a cool
if you're
look.
a typography guy, like the fonts they used on this, and just the overall elegance of it. Like I feel like even the choice of handset, using those like beautiful, straight, thin hands, because you've got a case where everything is very elegant. You've got small, short lugs. You've got a small bezel. Nothing on here is heavy-handed. Nothing on here is over the top. It's like a true gentleman's perpetual. I love it.
It's killer. I love that watch so much.
Right?
It wears incredibly well with the tang, like with that original tang that's on there, that elongated kind of, you know, AP-style tang.
Absolute.
It's
perfect size.
Even though it's small, like, and there's a lot going on that dial. It's incredible.
Not small, it's 36.
No, but I know, but I'm like, it's so legible.
Thin.
It is very thin. You know, we've seen the ones with, you know, display backs that are, you know, more highly
series,
that they're highly decorated, you know, the rotors like beautifully engraved and everything. But there's something about these closed case back, these early ones, like we said, with those sunken subdials, just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The one that like lives rent-free in my head is the Clover.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, there's a version of this watch that basically has I don't know how to describe it.
It's like a turtle shell.
It's like
It's a turtle shell.
It's like, and you get 4 individual subdials without the rest of the dial. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. But look it up. Look up the APQP Clover or whatever. But yeah, it's funny because like there are so many little like wrinkles and like nooks and crannies of just
nuance.
Nuance. Thank you. Yes, if you want to use an SAT word, Rob. But no, there's so much nuance within this one product family that I just love like digging into those details, and that is an amazing watch.
That example, like the hallmarks are crisp. It's perfect. It's perfect, and it's 22,000 or something like that on the website. Like it's an absurd price,
and it's funny
for a gold perpetual calendar from a Trinity brand.
And they have come up dramatically price-wise in the past couple of years. Like
I remember when they were 10 grand.
I was going to say, even 3-4 years ago, we were selling them for like 10 to like at the, if it was box papers, perfect, like maybe like 14, 15. But for what it is, for what you get, tons of watch for the money. Really, really love the APQP. So check it out on our website if you're interested in that one. All right. Well, now we're going to go to the complete opposite end of the AP spectrum.
Yeah. I figured that's why you put these back to back.
I did. I mean, we had to. All right. So, if you couldn't see this on the screen, AP Royal Oak Tourbillon Extra Thin. This is the reference 26522ST. And obviously the distinctive characteristic of this guy is beyond that massive tourbillon aperture down at 6 o'clock. You get this crazy purple dial as well.
This is like out of this world.
It is.
Like legit out of this world. It is, I think a lot of people like to give AP a hard time when they start moving away from the original recipe of the Royal Oak.
Sure, the 39
like when they get away, well, even just getting away from the tapestry, getting into the colors and stuff.
I wanted to mention this on this one. So, obviously, AP and especially the Royal Oak is known for that tapisserie dial, whether it's petite or grande at this point. This is really interesting though. So beyond the purple, if you look closely, you can see that it has like this interesting, it's still a tapisserie dial, but it's like an exploding tapisserie that, it like originates from the tourbillon down at 6 o'clock, and AP calls it their tapisserie evolutive dial. But I actually I really like this. I think that this keeps like the special sauce of the Royal Oak intact, but just tweaks it ever so slightly to make it more special, more different. They don't use, they've almost never used this pattern. I think they've used it on one other model, and it was in precious metal. But yeah, I mean, this is just
it's wild they made this in steel, actually.
I know, right?
Because you don't often see something like this in steel. You would expect this to be in a full white gold case or a full platinum case. And the fact that they did it in steel, I think, is very cool, because Royal Oak is a steel watch, in my opinion.
It has to be, yeah.
It's bananas, and it fits perfectly.
It really, we've seen a number of these of the Royal Oak Turbs, in the 41 mil case, and this is my favorite. Obviously the steel, the classic steel blue with the tourbillon down at 6 o'clock. I can't remember what the reference on that one. I think it's like a 26510 or something. That one's great, but I don't know. There's just again, it's got a little bit extra. It's it's crazy. This one is wild. Manual wind still. You get a nice almost 70-hour power reserve, I think, on it. It's 9 mil thick, so it's super thin still. It's crazy. This thing is crazy.
That is so thin. I'm not going to show the case back.
You actually get a power reserve.
Yeah. We should protect. Protect the clients.
So
as we
visible
do.
Through the case back, you actually get a power reserve indicator too, which I always think is hilarious.
That is very cool.
It's like when they put a moon phase on the case back.
Manual wind.
Yes.
So it makes sense.
It does. This one's not on the site yet. It's going to be coming very soon. It's going to be unobtainable, obviously, but if you got deep pockets and you want to have an AP Royal Oak that no one else has,
first one of those we've ever seen.
It is,
because that's not a watch they're going to make a ton of.
No, gosh, not at all.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very, very cool. And again, anytime you can kind of keep. What an interesting blend of keeping the Royal Oak what it is, steel, that size case, super comfortable, lightweight, but then tourbillon and then crazy
dial.
purple exploding
dial.
waffle dial,
Right.
which is now called the exploding waffle. Because right, AP, if you could, it would make a waffle. That'd be a very cool waffle. If
That
you
would
had a
be.
waffle iron
It
that
would.
looked like that.
I like that.
Cool watch.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good shout. All right.
Next up.
We got to hustle.
We do.
We're running out of time.
We don't have to do them all. It's okay.
Yeah. I think we should talk about another vintage watch, though.
I think we
because
should.
I think the vintage market right now is, if you're a collector and you have a lot of very cool modern watches, or you're kind of like, maybe you're bored with your normal stuff and you're like, what else is out there right now? I think the vintage market offers a lot of opportunity to get some really cool stuff
Value, dude.
at low prices.
Crazy value right now.
People are not looking at stuff. So what I picked here is the Patek 3483. This is a 1960s watch. We have ordered the archive on this, but we don't have it yet. And the real deal, like the thing with this, is that this is a steel Patek Philippe, which this is pre-Nautilus, this is pre-Royal Oak, this is really pre-sport watches coming from these brands. And Patek did not make a lot of steel watches.
No.
It is rumored that for this reference, there are about 500 examples out there, which is nuts, right? That is super limited.
500 in steel?
And if you compare
500 in steel or 500?
of this 3483, they only made this watch in steel. They never
really?
made a
No way.
3483 in gold. No, this is only a steel watch.
I don't know why I thought they made a yellow gold one as well.
3483, 3466, which is basically the same watch, but with the sub-seconds. They're only steel. And what's very cool is if you look at these watches and you compare these to, say, the 565 or the 570, which is the gold watches of the time, the cases are completely different. The
This
570
is so much more angular.
Right, a lot more curvaceous in the other references and a lot more kind of interesting geometry. This is very like hard-edged. It's very flat surfaces and 90-degree angles. And I think that's because of the difficulty of working with steel back then, because the manufacturing process wasn't as advanced as it was today, and steel was a pain in the neck, right? It broke all your tools, and like nobody wanted to make steel watches. So Patek made a few. They made the amagnetic. They made the two references I was talking about. And to me, again, like if the AP is your gentleman's perpetual, this is your gentleman's time-only watch.
Oh God, yeah.
No, like it's such a sleeper. But everything about it is so clean. The proportions are perfect.
The funniest thing is that walking down the street, someone's gonna think you're wearing a Timex. You know what I mean? But it's
You wouldn't look twice in this thing.
no, ever, like ever. But it's such, like Rob said, it's such a special watch.
Screw down case back.
That's the beauty of vintage, and like vintage Patek especially, but vintage in general, is that again there are all these little like nuances again that like you know that you're wearing a vintage Patek, that there are literally less than 500 of them in, maybe 500 of them in the world, and everybody else just thinks you have, some random swatch or Timex on or something.
I love a domed acrylic crystal.
Yeah.
I love a good, like, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's, if you're a tactile person, it's a fantastic feeling when you wind this watch. It's the 27 SC in here, which stands for center seconds. The best old school watchmaking money can buy. And like, I think these are undervalued today for something where there's only 5.
Is this listed on our site right now?
It is.
Okay. How much?
I do not remember the price.
Rob, you're killing me here, buddy. I'll look it up right now.
It is currently listed.
Vamp for a minute.
For something, what do you got, Ben? $29,900.
Okay, there you go. Wow, Ben.
$29,900
Johnny on the
for
spot over
something
there. Love it. Thank you.
Where there's approximately 500 pieces out there.
Sure.
Genuinely rare. Not like an Omega limited edition. We love you, Omega, but you make too many watches. It's like that to me.
I agree. Again, vintage. We have, so let's do one or two more. We can this we can, it's not gonna take us the full amount of time. So we're good.
Okay.
All right.
I'm fine.
I gotta talk about my favorite RM, Rob. Come on.
All RMs are your favorite RM.
No. That is absolutely not true. All right. So this is actually crazy. We just listed it and it's already pending sale, I think, as of like an hour ago. So had to show off the RM67-01. So this is titanium. It's the RM67 extra flat. This is, in my opinion, the best RM, period. Like, it is the most wearable. It is the most restrained, but it has like all of the characteristics and interesting details that make RM what RM is. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. This if you say RM, this is what pops into people's minds 90% of the time.
Yeah.
The tonneau shape,
Yes.
this crazy crown, and then the skeleton dial. And in this case, you know, this compared to, that's the perfect shot right there. This compared to the 05 or the 10. Like this thing, this is the watch that I put on my wrist and I was like, okay, I get it now.
Me too.
I understand why people go nuts for RM, because this thing, you could forget you're wearing this. It fits like a glove.
I've said it before that I would happily like liquidate all of my watches and just have one of these and just wear this, because it just works like there with you know, with it on your wrist with a suit. Totally makes sense, totally works. You know, t-shirt, jeans, doesn't matter. Like it's also like it's only 7.75 mil thick, so it's like it hugs your wrist incredibly well, just the shape of that case, you know, in and of itself. Then you have this fully skeletonized dial and movement where you get to see all of the crazy inner workings of this watch. You know, you get a platinum rotor, you get titanium base plate and bridges, you know, loomed numerals, you know, the date down at 5 o'clock, you know, that weird kind of distinctive RM like clutch indicator thing that they do with, you know, the 3 different positions for the crown. It's just like, it just works in my opinion. It's such, look at that movement. Look at the movement.
Trying to be sneaky here.
I know, to not show off the serial number.
Because this is a very recent watch. But I mean, the thing that to me is really wonderful about Richard Mille is like, is this a hype watch? Yes. Yes, it is.
Of course.
It is a crazy hype watch.
This one lives up to it, though.
There is enough engineering and R&D and tech beneath the hood that I think it stands up to the pricing.
Totally.
Even like, you know, where something like this is where you're like, wow, that is a time-only watch. Well, time and date watch for the better part of $200,000.
Yeah, we had it listed for $193,500.
You can buy some serious complication for $200,000.
Yes, you can.
Right? You can buy some incredibly complicated watches, but there's something about this that you really can't put your finger on it. And it's like, this is really special. It really, really is. And so, you know, I think that's why people who kind of like are willing to say, oh, Richard Mille, it's all hype, or like it's, you know, rappers and athletes and whatever, blah, blah, blah.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong, but it's not all hype.
But it's, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
That in the O2, the TPT, is one of the most impressive watches I have ever held in my hand.
Yeah, the Sebastian Ogier, that one, amazing.
It was insane.
I know.
The
only thing that would make this better is if it was on the like elastic strap band thing that they do, as opposed to the rubber strap.
But I was talking to somebody else about that watch, and they're like, yeah, but then you're talking about $350K for a plastic watch. And technically, they're not wrong. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you really are into it and you really love it, it is really something to be appreciated. It is incredible.
All right, I had to hit on that one. So unfortunately, that one is actually already pending sale, like I said. But they always come and go really quickly when we get them. But all right, we're gonna leave the rest of our new arrivals where they
Justin
sit.
wants to gloss over the Panerai.
Of course
I understand.
do. Rob was saving it for last,
it was
but you know,
incredibly cool.
Sorry.
Pam 1940 chrono with a Minerva movement in it. You should check it out.
That is a good watch,
cool.
actually. We do need to talk about that at some point.
AP table clocks.
Because
check it out.
Come on, they're fun.
Check it out.
They're fun.
We've got an offshore table clock, which I thought was really cool.
And a code,
same size as the regular offshore.
Exactly. Yeah. They actually, AP just took the strap off of a.
It's the same size, but we have an offshore table clock. Keep me there, and then we have the thing about this that's cool. This is a code 1159 table clock.
It's got the same crystal.
It has the double convex crazy crystal. I can't really show it here, but it's like, it gives you all those cool distortions at an angle, and you can choose to use these with the little flippy stand in the back, or you can rest them on this lovely wooden stand. Perfect for the holidays coming up. AP table clocks.
All right, so we wanted to continue on our little discussion of our favorite watches by decades. We did the 1940s, I believe, on our last.